Welcome to the Veterinary Marketing Podcast, where it's all about helping your veterinary practice attract, engage, and retain clients. Broadcasting a new podcast every Monday from sunny Southern California, here's your host, Brandon Bashirs.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to episode number 148 of the Veterinary Marketing Podcast. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. Today, we're going to be talking about how to create video, why you need to be creating video. And this is actually the first part in a 3-part series. And I'm going to be doing the how and the why and kind of the technical aspects in creating video and why it's so incredibly important, how it's going to impact your veterinary practice and help you to reach more clients, more customers, and consistently create growth in your veterinary practice. I believe in video more than ever, and I think that it's even more important than ever before, so it's going to be a really solid episode for you. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe in iTunes or Google Play, and if you could do me a massive favor, please be sure to leave me an honest review. I would really appreciate it. Another thing to mention here is that I have my new digital marketing planner. If you haven't checked that out, a lot of people have been giving some great feedback about it. So if you ever are trying to figure out how to create a plan for your veterinary practices, content marketing, how you can basically bundle up your content marketing and also your ads and you're getting all of your digital marketing strategy to be cohesive and work together, then check out my planner. If you go to veterinarymarketingpodcast.com/planner, you can go and sign up for a free training. It's over an hour long. It teaches you how to create a comprehensive content plan. It is modeled on the planner. You don't have to buy the planner if you don't want to, but it helps to have the planner. You can buy the planner on Amazon. There's a link for that at veterinarymarketingpodcast.com/planner, and it is a great tool to help you get everything organized and to grow your veterinary practice. The other thing that I want to mention is if you haven't done so already, you should absolutely be joining the Veterinary Marketing Nerds Facebook group. It's a great place to get collaboration, to get help. So head on over to facebook.com/groups/the Veterinary Marketing Nerds and request to join. We'll get you in there. And if you ever have any questions or you need help with anything, that's a great place to get help and collaboration. All right, so let's get into today's podcast, not video. We're talking about video. And video marketing is more important than ever. And it's really interesting to see just how much additional consumption of video that is happening on platforms like YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So specifically, we're going to be talking about the why and the how of video. If you don't know already, so Facebook and YouTube, between those two platforms, you can basically reach like 90% of all of humanity. It's amazing how many people use both Facebook and YouTube. And it is only becoming more and more popular. It's very interesting. Almost 5 billion videos are watched every single day. And for younger demographics, they watch YouTube more than they watch TV. If you combine YouTube, Twitch, and other social channels, it's just incredible how much time is spent there. It's only going to get more and more important. It's very interesting if you look at the percentage of sales online versus traditional brick and mortar retail, you'd think, online is taking up a huge percentage. But it's actually still only about 4% of all transactions that are taking place. And so we're just kind of breaking the surface as far as what is possible with the internet. So if you're not making videos and you're like trying to claim your social real estate, so to speak, there's still time to get in and to get working on this. I've been working on video a ton. I've wanted to be doing a lot more videos, and I've decided that I was going to start creating videos every single day because I tell my clients that you need to be creating content. It's so important. And I was creating podcasts and things, but I wasn't creating content to the level that I actually felt that needed to be done for most businesses. And I think that if you can do daily content, and I know that's a lot, it's probably not for most veterinary practices, but if you can do it, you're going to be so far ahead. But we're not going to talk about daily content here. We're going to talk about weekly content because I think that is a lot more doable here for most veterinary practices. But I just wanted to instill in you that it is so important to be creating video. It's going to only continue to become more and more important. And it's how people engage with brands and people that they like and they like to follow. If you think about videos that you watch and it's really interesting even to think about just the shift that has happened within Netflix. The Bird Box video and movie, it just blew up. It was extremely popular. The level of memes that were penetrating the internet was really interesting. The Bird Box memes were everywhere, and they had two really solid meme with also Marie Kondo's tidying up as well. So it just is interesting. The shift is all digital marketing, all online, and it's all consumable on demand, which is just very interesting. So there's just a huge shift. It's only increasing, and for the first time ever, actually, by 2020, digital ad spend will exceed traditional ad spend. And so it's time to start producing video. If you are too late to this, and there's always going to be time and room for good content, but it's just getting more and more difficult. So it's time to get started with video if you're not started. And I think that if you are having trouble creating content consistently, if you can create video, you're going to solve a lot of the content problems that you're facing. And I'm going to tell you how and why we're going to be able to use video to create more content in less time consistently. So the first thing that I want to say is that you, number one, need to understand why it's so important. People like to do business with those that they know, like, and trust. And there are few mediums that actually let you get better context with your clients than if they are watching videos of you. Podcasts are also great ways to do this. You're in their head, right? If you're listening to this right now, you might be working out, you might be driving to work. Whatever it is that you're doing, I'm in your head right now, and I'm basically hanging out with you. So that's amazing because we're hanging out, we're building context, we're building a relationship at scale, which is cool. And the other kind of better way to get that level of context and familiarity is by creating video. Then the reason for that is you can't see my face. And so if we were to hang out or meet at a conference, or if I was to do some speaking or something, it wouldn't be the same level as, like Cody Krillman has with his audience, where he's creating videos on YouTube all the time, and people, they get to see him, they know how he acts, they feel like they get to know him and hang out with him because they're actually seeing with their eyes. And so it's a different medium, and it helps to just get better context with your clients. So let's talk about video, though. A few things that are difficult with video, and it is specifically production, and I get it. It is complicated compared to other types of content creation, but it doesn't have to be. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to figure out, what are you going to use videos for? Are you going to use them to answer questions? Are you going to use them to entertain? Are you going to use them to educate? What is it that you're going to be using them for? And I think that you probably should try and create a mix of content. So not just focus only on one type of content, but have a mix. And I also suggest having a mix of both recorded and edited and live videos as well, because live video is just so powerful as far as reaching people in real time, connecting, engaging, answering questions, and making video a conversation rather than just a broadcast. So that being said, let's go through a few things. First, the planning. I think that it's very, very important that you plan out who the video is going to be for. Who is your target market, and target that specific person with it's basically creating a client avatar for each video. So if you're trying to, let's say you're a specialty practice and you want to be targeting other veterinarians, or if you want to be targeting dog owners, if you want to be targeting cat owners, if you want to be targeting equine clients, whatever it is that you're trying to target, those are very different videos because they're going to have different topics, you're going to use different language, and it's just going to be different. So starting with the end in mind, who is it that you're trying to attract? And then cover the who, what, where, why, when, and how in your video. And plan it out as far as what it is that you're trying to achieve. Sometimes you're just trying to get subscribers to your channel. Sometimes you're just trying to get likes on your Facebook page. Sometimes you're trying to get shares. Sometimes you're trying to get them to come in for dental month. Just figure out what it is and how the best way to create a call to action that's going to fit with that. So that planning is very important, and having that end in mind instead of just trying to wing it, I think is definitely helps you to not only figure out what the video content is going to be about, but also the call to action, which will let you figure out how to track if it's successful or not. If you're looking for subscribers, you're going to measure success in subscribers. If you're looking for booked appointments, you're going to measure in booked appointments. But make sure that the call to action matches that end objective. That's number one. Number two, let's talk about actually producing the videos. So if you have an iPhone or if you have a smartphone that has a relatively nice camera, that is good enough. 100% that's good enough. And most of these phones also have video editing software inside of them. So I think that depending on your level of commitment or your level of just the time that you have to edit these things, it may be that you just need to do live videos, and that's totally okay. If you did a live video once a week, that would be amazing, better than nothing. If you did a recorded video once a week, that would be amazing too. So figure out what the kind of technical stack that you need to have set up so that it is doable, instead of just, like, okay, I'm going to buy a really nice, Canon 5D Mark III and film everything in 4K, and then I'm going to, that gets complicated and it is difficult to edit and it adds time and production layers. And so if that's not something that's actually going to be doable, then don't set that as a goal for yourself just because it's not going to end up getting done. And that's, I think, the biggest thing is that most of the brands and the businesses that I work with who don't consistently create content, it's because they don't prioritize it. They think that it's not as of high importance as other activities, but it is so important. It needs to be prioritized and scheduled just like anything else in your business. But back to technology, I would go as high level of technology as you can afford and also as you will use. And if it's not usable, then it's just not worth getting. Okay, so I started out, and I've been making daily marketing videos for YouTube channel now, and I started out with the camera that I had. It started to overheat, and so I had to get a new camera. It was very difficult to learn, but I was committed to doing it, and so I've started to learn it. They've gotten better over time, and so that's cool. But if you don't have the commitment, or if you get frustrated easily by technology, then just use what you can actually make videos on. I just wanted to say that a video with a little bit less in quality as far as like production value, that is still a valuable video. The other thing that I think is really important to think about too is that videos can really do a lot of the heavy lifting for you when it comes to onboarding clients, asking questions, creating follow-up, and building systems in your practice. So you can use video not only to reach clients, but you can use them to educate clients. So let's say you have a protocol for a specific drug that you want them to know about. You can send them the follow-up email that has a video. Instead of written instructions, it says, here's how to do this. Or if you have a frequently asked question that you get a lot, so how do I feed my dog pills or something, you can create content that is going to be very topically valuable, and also will help you to, if your front desk staff is constantly answering a question, if you could say, hey, yeah, we have an answer for that. Can we get your email? We'll send you exactly how we suggest you do that. We have a how-to video. And then you're collecting an email and you're educating your clients in the right way. They'll be able to not only see you doing something with getting to know you, and they'll also get benefit from it. And so hopefully subscribe and be on different channels with you. So I think that there just are so many reasons why video is ridiculously valuable for your practice. The other thing that comes up a lot with creating video is that software can be a problem, right? How do I edit the video once I shoot it? So there's a few ways to get around that. First thing that you can do to get around that, if you're not going to edit video, and there's some of you who aren't going to edit video no matter what you do, just because you hate doing it. If that's you, you can hire somebody like an editor, and that's just not realistic for most people, or you can just do a Facebook Live. There's no editing with Facebook Lives, which is awesome, because you just produce a video, you can download it, re-upload it on your YouTube channel, or upload it on your Instagram TV, and you have a piece of content that's produced. You can also embed those videos on your website, and it is just great to have, and you can repurpose it and use it all over the web, which is wonderful. Let's say, though, that you did want to do editing. I'm going to give you 3 specific softwares that I think will cover basically every range of needs for most veterinary practices. The first, let's say, okay, we have actually 2 things. If you have a PC, then I would suggest that you look up, it's called Wondershare by Filmora. That's Wondershare and then Filmora. If you go to veterinarymarketingpodcast.com, I'll have links to all of this in the description. And I'll also show you exactly what cameras I'm going to talk about too. Because we're going to go over cameras in a little bit more in depth here, not just smartphone cameras. But Filmora Wondershare is great. And then if you're an Mac user, iMovie is great. Those are both very entry level, very simple to use, but they get the job done, which is great. And then if you want to upgrade and you want to have like fancy features and color grading and all of that cool stuff, then check out Adobe Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro. And if you have, that will cover anything that you need to do as a general veterinary practice wanting to produce video content. So don't make it more complicated than that. Filmora Wondershare has a free version, so you can go try that out. I would suggest checking out. It's simple to use. It's a great program. I've used it for a long time. I also use Premiere Pro, which has a lot more features, and it's more difficult than learning curves and things. But if you can figure out how to use it, you can do a lot of cool things. So let's go back to cameras here. We talked about iPhone or smartphone, which is, I think, the best for most practices if you can't get it in the budget. And you just want something simple to shoot video, they do great. Especially the new iPhones. I mean, it's amazing. You got 4K at 60 frames a second with all of the cool features. And it just is great video. You even have 1080 forward-facing cameras. So if you are on, like, looking at yourself in the screen, you have a really high-quality video you can use. The next kind of levels that I think for cameras, and this is going to be just in general, this is for most practices. Obviously, this isn't for like film professionals. Like, there's people that produce amazing videos in the veterinary industry, and this obviously isn't for them. But for an average person, I would suggest the next step up in cameras for having like a practice camera would be a GoPro Hero 7. And GoPros are very simple to use. They only have 2 buttons. Their settings out of the box are pretty simple to use. They have 4K up to 60 frames a second. They have image stabilization now, which is wonderful. The new GoPro Hero 7 is a fantastic camera, and even the audio sounds good on it, which is amazing. The other thing that's really cool about GoPros is that it shoots in landscape and in portrait. So if you're doing a strategy for Instagram TV and you want to really go in on Instagram, then I would suggest checking out the GoPro Hero 7, because that's a really cool feature. You can also live stream with the GoPro Hero 7, which is also cool. And it's all edited within their software on your mobile device. So post-production is also very simple. You can create time lapses and other really engaging content as well. So I enjoy using the GoPro Hero 7, and I think that it's a very easy to use camera that gives you a cool result. It's not cinematic and it's not super fancy. The audio could be better, but it's definitely worth taking a look at if you have a veterinary practice. You can also do really cool shots because it has wide angles, which are great for in the exam room. And it's so small that you can fit it in all kinds of places. I had one vet who was an equine vet who said I could fit that in a horse's mouth to take a look at the dental work that we were doing, which was cool. And it totally would fit inside of a horse's mouth, just don't lose it. So that's cool to think about. The other camera that I really like, and there's tons of cameras out there, you have Sony 6400s or 5100s and all of these other things. You can get really complicated about cameras, but one that's just a great, really big value, that's a solid step up, that for most people it's going to cover every need that you have. It's the Canon EOS M50, which is it's definitely difficult to use if you're not tech savvy. You have all kinds of settings out of the box with just the factory settings and the guided menu. It's not super good as far as images go, but if you set the advanced menu and you change your white balance and change your stuff up so that it is set up how you want it to be set up, you're able to shoot at 4K at 30 frames a second with no autofocus is the only problem with that. But you have 1080 at 120 frames a second, which is cool for slow motion and video production. It has a pretty solid onboard camera. Onboard speaker, and you can mount external microphones to it as well. So it takes great images, it takes great video, it has image stabilization, and it's a great camera in general. So between those three options, your smartphone, a GoPro Hero Black, or a Canon EOS M50, and the Hero Black is $300, and the EOS M50 is $550, you'll be able to get really high quality video. And then the different editing options, which are iMovie, Filmora, Wondershare, Premiere Pro, or Adobe Final Cut Pro, those will help you to get started. Now, on the veterinarmarketingpodcast.com, if you go and check out episode number 148, I actually show you what the differences are from camera to camera, and so that you can see specifically what does it look like differently when you're shooting with these different cameras. What does it sound like? And so I didn't do any color editing or anything like that. So you can see specifically what each one of these look like and sound like, and say, hey, you know what? The iPhone, it really does look good. I don't need to get anything better than that. So be sure to check that out. Now, in the next two podcast episodes, we're going to talk about YouTube first, specifically how to approach YouTube from a strategy standpoint, how to approach it from a tactical standpoint, as far as what works best and how to grow your channel, how to engage clients on YouTube. And then the next video after that, the next podcast after that, we're going to be talking about how to use Facebook and Instagram TV to reach clients, educate clients, and attract new clients as well. So I think these are going to be some really, really powerful episodes for you. It's just so important that you're doing video. If you need help with anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. And I would like to say, be sure to head on over to the Veterinary Marketing Nerds Facebook group and let me know if you have any questions, comments, or need help with anything. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode. Have a great day.